Hello everybody and welcome back. Tonight we discuss the strange case of the Manchester pusher, and the parents of two students whose bodies were pulled from the canal refuted police claims they drowned accidentally. One of the students managed to phone his parents, and for over an hour they heard howls and screams. Sadly, the police did not record the phone call. Is this another one of the pusher's victims, or is something much stranger going on? Tragically, David Plunkett's chilling screams, heard by a 999 call handler, were not taped because the recorder was not working. The officer who dealt with the distressing call was so appalled by the blunder she later resigned. And the family of Subic Pal, another victim, said families were not getting proper answers from the police. Detectives hit out at experts' claims that a killer, dubbed the Pusher, is on the loose, after a Manchester newspaper revealed dozens of bodies had been found in the Manchester Canal. The phone call from David, 21, who comes from Halifax, West Yorkshire, was the last anyone heard from him before he was found dead in the Manchester Ship Canal 3 weeks later. He vanished after leaving a nightclub at Trafford Park near Manchester in April 2004. His inquest heard that his anguished parents rang him to check if he was okay, after hearing he'd lost his pals. He started to scream and howl, they said. They dialed 999 on another phone and held the two handsets together so the police operator could hear his distress. It was the last time they spoke to their son. The pair called their son's phone that night he died, only to hear terrified screams, Anne said. The screaming and howling was so unearthly that you just felt it had to be something. This message was issued from a former GMP police officer who handled the call. The woman, who I am not naming, said, I took a very distressing 999 call. She said David had been in a distressed state during the call with his parents, but they could not hear anything other than their son screaming, she added. I dealt with them for well over an hour, trying to sort out assistance for them and him. The incident still haunts me to this date. And with this death I see reported in the news, I become more and more convinced that these are murders and not accidents. A pathologist said that David's likely cause of death was drowning, and the inquest ruled it was accidental. But David's mum, Anne, 66, disagrees. And last night she hit out at the police probe that in her son's death. The retired teacher said, someone is responsible for David's death. The police investigation was unacceptable. It was a case of a young man, too much to drink, falls into the canal, and end of story. But so many important factors were ignored, and there were versions of events that simply did not add up. David Plunkett had been at a concert at the Daytona racetrack, also in Trafford Park, before he went missing in April 2004. Recalling the last time she spoke to her son, Anne said, I could barely make out what he was saying. He started screaming and howling. It was extremely distressing, and I thought he was being attacked. We rang the police and we put the phone to them, but it soon went dead. It later turned out the call wasn't recorded because the tape recorder wasn't working. It really does beg a belief. Anne said her brother found David's phone upstream from the body, despite a police search. She added, the whole case leaves more questions than answered. He could have been attacked, he could have had his drink spiked, anything could have happened. Police chiefs have tried to allay fears that there is a Manchester pusher stalking the city's walkways after a cyclist was hurled into the canal at night. Rumours of possible serial attacker have been revived after a 34-year-old office worker was thrown into the city's Bridgewater Canal, then kicked back in as he tried to save himself from drowning. The victim, who said he almost drowned after his legs became tangled in his bicycle while he was below the surface of the canal, said he had asked police about the Manchester pusher legend and that they were well aware of the stories. I definitely feel like I'm lucky to be alive, he said. I could easily have drowned because of what he did, he told the Sunday Times. The victim's wife posted a warning about the canal pusher on Greater Manchester community page on Facebook. On Saturday night this month, Orlando Nairo was celebrating his 19th birthday in Manchester. 3 days later, on the 12th, his body was pulled from the Rochdale Canal, which runs through the heart of the city. But he's not the first student to die after a night out there. Orlando was found in the same waterway as student Charlie Pope, also 19, who drowned there in March. In fact, Orlando and Charlie are among 86 people who have been recovered dead from Greater Manchester's canal since 2007. Most of the known victims have been young men. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me. Good night.